Yeah, so it wasn't exactly a linear path to get to where I am now, but I'm in my third year of a crop science degree at the University of Alberta. And I actually started in biochemistry when I started post-secondary, but my experience in agriculture goes back to when I was very young. My grandparents have a grain operation in southern Alberta, where I spent pretty much every summer from the age of by the time I could walk to just about high school. But I'd never lived on a farm actually, so I did get to work on the farm. I did get the experience, but both my parents were in the military growing up, so we spent my whole life moving around every 2 years all across Canada. I spent a lot of time away from my parents, and during that time, I'd actually lived with my grandparents on the farm. So I've always loved and appreciated my grandparents for what they do and all of our neighbors down there. But I actually never wanted to pursue agriculture. I kind of wanted to follow in my mom's footsteps and go into medicine somewhere. But when I got to university, I joined the University of Alberta Agriculture Club, where I met a bunch of kids who were like-minded, came from small towns and farms, and I just fell in love with ag as a career, and I was exposed to all the crazy career paths that I could have in agriculture. I didn't have to be a farmer. I didn't have to live on the farm, but I could go into science. I could go into research, marketing, production, you name it. There's a spot for everybody in agriculture. And I was very excited to see something new and something that I felt I could contribute to. So that's when I transferred to crop sciences at the beginning of last year, and the rest is history. I've been pursuing it ever since. I found my own passion in it when I started doing summer jobs over the summer that were in agriculture. I got more experience. I met other producers. I met other summer students. I met students that were in crop programs and animal health programs. And everybody's just so passionate and welcoming in agriculture. And it really made me feel like I was at home. Whereas my previous program, biochemistry, was very competitive, very cutthroat all the time. And it was just, I think, just too much for me. And I wasn't exactly passionate about it. I wanted to, and I wanted to succeed, but I find agriculture to be much more entertaining, and there's always something new to be going on, and I always have room to grow. Frank Robinson, our professor for that course, had designed this project all by himself. And so he put us all into groups where we would work with three other students, groups of four, and we were essentially given a farm. And some of them were based on real farms, some of them were play pretend farms, and we had to research everything front to beginning, top to bottom, everything about these farms and how to make a successful farm. And this project really showed kids the different commodities, the different types of production we could do, because yes, we know what farmers are, but I didn't know anything about, say, turkey or egg laying or broiler breeders or pork production, anything like that. And he really showed us every single aspect of agriculture all the way around, not just crops or not just cattle production per se. So our group was given the farm in Edson, Alberta, which was based after a real farm, Douay Joe Farms. And it was our project to make a functioning cattle production farm. So we were given quite a bit of freedom, both creatively, there we go, and financially as well. Like, we didn't have very many set parameters. We just had to show him that we were researching that type of production and that we knew how to make a successful farm. Every week we were given a new topic to work on to add on to our presentation. So the first week was just make a layout for the farm, decide what type of animals you're going to have, what breed of cattle you'll have, how many, do you need equipment? And the answer was yes, we needed equipment. So by the first week, we just made our farm. We had a little layout and we described everything that we had. And then as the weeks progressed, we got more and more in detail. So it started off with what cows we had, and then how many and how are we feeding them? Where's our food coming from? How much do we have to pay for that food? And is it financially feasible for us to do that? And as we got more and more into it, we got more in depth. So there was one week where we had an accident on the farm. We were given a scenario where we had a vet emergency, and now as producers in the real world, somebody would have to solve that problem. So we were given that problem, and it was a hypothetical situation that our vet had called us and said something was wrong, and that one of our bulls had gotten in with the neighbor's cows, which is something that could happen in real life. So we reached out actually to one of the owners of the farm that our farm was based off of and asked, what would you do in this situation? So we got real life contact with producers. We got to talk about, disaster management and how do you fix this in a way that is not only beneficial to both our farm, the neighbor's farm, but also the animals, because we have to look after animal welfare. And then by the end of it, we were researching the entire cattle market through all of Canada and North America, and learning where our farm had a place in the agriculture community and in production. So it gave us a complete start to finish look on how a cattle operation runs. Whereas other groups, maybe who had pork or poultry, they got start to finish research on how one of those farms would work. Being online last year was definitely the number one challenge we faced, because I never got to meet my group mates, my project partners. We solely communicated through emails and through Zoom, which was challenging because then I don't really know anything about them, and I don't know what their project style is or where their heart wanted to go with this project. But overall, we did get along well, and everybody did their work, and we were all able to work together and ask for help on things, so that went well. But yeah, Frank would throw crazy things at us every week. We'd have no idea what we were going into for that part of the project, and then like the week that we had the vet emergency, we didn't know that that was the plan for the week, so we all got in our Zoom together to work on this project, and now all of a sudden we had an emergency we needed to deal with by the end of class, and we had to figure out how to solve that. And it did take some good thinking, and it took some reaching out to the producer contact that we were given. But eventually we did all get together, we did make it work, and yeah, I think it went very well in the end. Well, not only, the group work and collaboration was nice, and of course that's always needed in all education, but just the exposure to everything, because not only did we get exposure for ourselves, for our group, to cattle production, we got to see the other presentations and learn about all the other farms that all the other students made. I mean, we also got presentations from producers. So our producer, who we were linked with for our beef production, came and did a presentation. Oh, he came on Zoom for a presentation, and he talked to everybody in the class, not just the four of us, and so everybody got an insight to his farm, as well as say the group who was working with laying hens. There was a laying egg producer come and show us a presentation of her farm, and she showed us everything, and so we all got exposure to all of it. And keeping this project going will not only connect producers to the next generation, but it gives us all more exposure as well. I think it's very complicated coming forward, as the average age of a farmer is aging and they're getting closer to retirement, and there's a big generational gap when it comes to rural and urban living, as well as what the media presents to people. So I think it is very important for this next generation and my peer group to step up and start taking over farms and advancing the industry, because our grandparents, aunts and uncles and parents have worked very hard for very many years to get us to where we are, but if there's nobody to replace them in the industry, then the industry won't do very good. So I think us coming forward and not only having the work ethic and the drive and the commitment to be producers, but as well as bringing the technology that we're learning from school and from university and projects like this, and making it it already is a well-rounded industry, but connecting it more internally would be very beneficial in the future. I do think the only comment I have is that I really strongly believe agriculture education should begin before university. I think all students should be exposed to it, and that's Egg for Life and Egg in the Classroom are doing a great job of that and exposing lots of people, and making a media presence for egg education, because like I said, I didn't start as wanting to go into agriculture, and it's just because I didn't know that there was so many options I could go into until I got to university, and I just think it's really important for students to be exposed to it.